What's up, everybody? That's another episode of Broken Bear Conversation. Another week, another episode, man. I'm Seiko.
I'm Josh.
There you go. And don't forget, ignore that sound. Don't forget, we're on everything. TikTok, Instagram, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Check us out, Broken Bear Conversations. And for this video, this topic, we're going to continue about the Ohio train derailment.
Crazy.
Because I think that should still be in conversation, and we should 100%. Not forget about it, especially since it's not fixed, the whole situation that's going down there. Okay? And to give a quick synopsis, quick summary of what happened, you want to say it or?
No, you say it, man.
Okay. So the Ohio train, there was a train going through a town in Ohio called East Palestine, and apparently one of the wheel bearings on the train wasn't maintained very well. It was on his last leg, and it ended up fucking up, and the whole train just tipped over, right?
Fucking derailed like crazy bad.
And that whole train was carrying like 5 carts of very toxic chemicals, and it just spilled everywhere. Got into the soil, went to the water.
It's like a fucking nuclear explosion, basically, right?
Exactly.
They had nougat to kill the chemicals.
Just a chemical spillage, everywhere. And it fucked up everything around that area. Like all the wildlife started dying because, like I said, it got into the soil and everything. So like there was like a river or a pond or whatever nearby. All the fish started floating to the top and shit. They all died. There's like frogs floating to the top and shit. They all died. And then the town got evacuated by the officials in charge, whatever like that, and they decided to do a controlled burning. So they just ended up burning all the leftover chemicals, and that just caused all the fumes to go into the air.
Up in there.
And now everything in the air is dying.
Yeah, like
all the
birds
falling down to the ground, dead. Crazy shit, right?
Man, yeah.
And after all that happened, that was within a week. After a week, they said, all right, everybody, it's safe to come back.
Yeah. Air's good.
Right?
All's good.
And everybody came back. And
damn.
all the people that live in that town are reporting a lot of shit happening. Like everybody has strep throat and stuff. Everyone has nausea.
Yeah, like fevers or headaches, stuff like that, right?
Just everyone's, they're just not feeling okay,
Jesus.
And then like there was this lady that I was watching in an interview. Her like dog was like throwing up and stuff. It's like, damn, everybody, even the dog is fucking
like
suffering.
her, like the farmers with their cattle were still dying. I don't know if that was still going on.
Yeah.
Because shit's like in the soil.
Yeah.
And it was just a week, right? They were told to go home?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And then according to officials, I think they said that everything's supposed to be okay.
Yeah.
But obviously it's not, because according to the actual people living there, they're reporting all these sicknesses,
Yeah.
And they're not okay.
It wasn't like a volunteer basis, right? They weren't like saying like, hey, if you're allowed to go home if you want, or they weren't. I didn't know if they were like trying to provide like special housing if people needed, like assisted housing. Was anything like that up?
I don't even know.
See, I didn't read anything like that.
The only thing I know that they did was they probably gave everyone like $1,000.
What the fuck are you supposed to do with $1,000?
I know.
Like 10,000, like maybe that might help for a little bit, at least
Yeah.
get you by. But fuck, $1,000?
I know. Yeah. Could you lower it a little?
Oh yeah, sorry, $1,000 fucking
Pay attention
dollars.
to the red, by the way.
Oh yeah.
On your mic too.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, $1,000 for everyone.
Nothing, man.
Like for the Trump check was more than that. We got 2,000,
And that still wasn't even that much.
And that was 2,000 for everyone in the U.S. Like you only gave 1,000 to everybody in this small town. Like you could have gave them more.
That's probably like what, 50,000? How many people live in that small town?
I don't know, man.
Not that many.
But yeah.
Damn.
And then I'm not sure. Don't quote me on this, but I think they said that they did water tests. That's what they said, right? But then journalists
on the well waters, or
I don't know.
Because I know there's like water treatment, but some people had well water, and that's what they were scared of, and and I remember they were told to only use bottled water for now.
That's insane.
Which is like, what about showering? That's stuff I brought up because don't forget, people have ice cubes and they'll freeze their ice because if you in your ice maker, the water is getting drawn from your normal water. Yeah. So when you wash your dishes or a dishwasher, what fucking water is it using to wash your dishes?
Pay attention to that.
Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah. Like what is it? It just depends on like on those things, and that's what stuff blows my mind is people forget, like, yeah, you still have to take a shower, you take a bath, you're gonna be soaking in that shit, it's gonna absorb in your skin.
That's interesting you say that, because there's this independent news source that I follow on Instagram. I like their name. It's called Real News, no bullshit.
Yeah.
Right? And I told you about them too.
Yeah.
And they actually flew down to that town and did their own independent journalism, interviewing the actual people on the ground, right? And it's interesting how you brought up the showering situation and the bottled water situation, because one of the people they interviewed talked about how they don't touch any of the water at all. They just use bottled water for everything. Cooking, brushing their teeth, rinsing their mouth.
Yeah, good.
Even showering, he's pouring bottled water on himself.
I would do the same shit.
That's insane,
Yeah,
man.
I'd do the same shit.
But it's insane that those are the lengths you have to do.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I would have, if it's at that point and you can, I would at least try to sue to like, hey, give me alternate housing. Because something that has to be done. Because like, if I'm having to do all that shit, I'm like, I'm gonna try to do a lawsuit. Like, y'all gotta help me.
Yeah.
Like, this shit, I didn't make this change, bro.
I know.
Like, I shouldn't be forced to live. Like, god damn, dude, that shit's crazy.
Yeah. And then again, the Real News No Bullshit, they interviewed people there, and one of the other people they interviewed was this lady, single mom with kids, right, dog and everything, and in her backyard, that's where the fucking train is at. The train derailed and is in her backyard, literally still there.
So she still has a train
in the backyard while she's living there.
Under fence and shit?
It's past the fence. The fence collapsed because the train crashed into it. Fuck. And yeah, they're interviewing her, right? And they're like recording her, and then they pan 2 inches to the right. The train's right there. You know, it's like, what the hell? How are you telling people it's safe to come back when the train's literally 6 feet away?
There's just like shit still over the ground.
Yeah.
I would clean this up, but y'all can go back and chill in your house.
I know.
And get affected by these chemicals.
I know, man. So yeah, it's just hella sad that a lot of stuff is going down there, and it seems like the people in charge.
Think about the pregnant people that are there,
man.
Oh
man. Yeah.
Because if you drink that water, that's in your system.
And it reaches
not thinking about it. And sometimes, well, not only that, people just probably don't think about it. Because like, and that one guy, obviously, he's that paranoid mind, whereas I'm just bathing with bottled water. But not everyone's probably gonna do that. People are not gonna have that stuff click in. Like, oh, I'm just drinking regular water, but they're not thinking about the regular stuff they do.
Yeah.
And how can you use water in your cooking? I guess if you're boiling it, it probably isn't too bad. But still, like that, you shouldn't be having to go down. You shouldn't be that stuff. And what about like the other interviews? I know they're getting interviewed by other people. You were saying something like the Real News flew over there, but what about the other companies? Like there was like you were saying there's like this conspiracy that's going on. I don't know if y'all knew about this shit.
Yeah, it's a little interesting because I talked about how we have independent journalists going down there and interviewing, right? But then you also have the person that should be interviewed, the most important person, which is the CEO of the company, the train company, Norfolk.
So he's the CEO of the dude of the train that like crashed.
Yeah.
Like, who owned the train or the chemicals?
He's the CEO of the train company.
Okay.
Norfolk.
You
know, like by our job, the trains that pass by. I don't know if you noticed, but they'll have like the company name on it, and Norfolk is.
Okay, so he basically the chemicals shit that his responsibility to maintain that stuff, make sure the train runs good.
Yeah,
so that's his. All right.
Yeah, but he was doing interviews as well, but not with any independent journalists. He was doing interviews with like big news outlets. Like I'm don't quote me on it, but let's say for example like CNN, for example, right? Like news outlets like that. And it's interesting that he's only choosing select news outlets to interview with. Because if you dig deep, and this is all public information, but the company, there's this big company that's kind of like an investment company. They hold a lot of shares in a bunch of other companies called BlackRock, right? And they own a good amount of shares on Norfolk, right? And interesting thing is that BlackRock also owns a lot of shares of a bunch of news outlets. And let's say, for example, CNN is one of them, right? And it's interesting that the CEO of Norfolk is only going to the news outlets that BlackRock owns. So it's kind of a little conspiracy, he's only choosing the ones that are part of his world.
It's like because it's under that control. It's like, I can do these because I can edit things I want to edit out. And if I say something stupid.
And probably tell them what questions to ask and stuff, right?
Yeah, it's pretty suspect.
If you were to go to an independent news source, like us, for example, we would ask him real questions. You know?
Would.
But I don't think he would want
bullshit,
that. Yeah, he wouldn't want that.
He wouldn't answer him.
That's how it is, man. So that's a little conspiracy stuff,
it is.
too.
It's like those it's like the pre-examined questions. Like, okay, I'll answer these questions.
Yeah,
because at least he probably has a knowing of what's going to be coming, and it's like you're not going to falter. Yeah. That's a good thing about interviews because you can, stump buddy, get people kind of stumping on whatever. Like, as long as you can get people to fumble, that's when you like, all right, that's where I got some words. I got, you're hiding something.
Yeah.
You got some stuff for coming up. But that is fucking crazy. I haven't really heard all of that yet, but now I'm gonna be fucking investigating right now. As soon as we do this podcast, I'm gonna be researching like crazy. Yeah. That shit's nuts, man.
Yeah.
Now I really feel like that just because all these people that are in control, because we are just fucking pawns in this world.
They don't care.
Honestly feel like no, they just need us to be moved so they can get on to the other point.
They just care about money.
Yeah. Damn, dude. Could you imagine that? It's like, I think it was like a town of like 5,000. This is a small little town.
It's a small town.
Yeah, to me that town's probably fucked.
It is, man.
Yeah.
We don't even know the long-term effects.
No.
It's probably fucked for the next couple century or whatever.
Because was there like a massive chemical explosion that's equivalent? Do we have anything that's like recent times, not like old school, no school?
Only thing I could think about is old stuff like Hiroshima and stuff like that.
This stuff's way too
Because in that nuclear, well, actually, could you explain that? 'Cause I don't know all the details of Hiroshima.
So the one thing I was looking up on Hiroshima, no, that was just because it was bombed. I think we did 2 bombs that hit
America bombed Hiroshima.
Yeah, America bombed Hiroshima, but I think they did. I believe they dropped at least 2 on parts of it. I know when they were flying by, of course, they had 1 bomb, and it was equivalent to nuke, and people were fried literally to the wall.
So was that a nuke or was that just a bomb?
No, it was like an atom bomb.
It was a nuke then.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was basically equivalent to what a nuke would do. Like if
Crazy.
it was I think you can still now do shit over there. I think they've redone the town.
Okay.
I think it's livable.
Well, thanks for the context, but
Yeah.
I want to talk about the effects of all that shit, right? From what I heard, that whole place got radiation and shit from the bombing, right? And then like all the vegetation and plants that grew, they were all like mutated, you know? So that stuff is long-lasting effects. That stuff is real.
And those things, well, different like the nuke was. I know they had to. I know when they're talking about what they do with the chemicals, the only way to like fire freeze this shit to burn it out quick, they had to kind of like fire flash it. Was to equivalent of like almost a nuke type of level of fire, intense heat to get rid of all that, to burn all the shit off. Which again, what you just described, would kill all the birds, all that crazy stuff. So that's again, if that was a equivalent to like a nuke level of exterminating factor, which is nuts.
Yeah.
That means I don't know if it's gonna have the same radiation type effect or what. They don't talk about that stuff, and they're trying to sweep that shit under the rug because obviously these chemicals are dangerous and cancer causing, that's always a terrifying thing. Anything that's cancer causing, those words, that's not gonna make you feel good.
Yeah.
It's not gonna make you feel good.
No, yeah.
And like it might be in your drinking water, just drink some bottled water for now. I'm like, wait.
But you can't do that for the rest of your life.
Wait,
you know?
is there a time frame? Is this like for a month? What you doing to fix it?
I know.
They just left the town, right?
They just left. They did that chemical. They evacuated the town, did that chemical burn, and told everyone a week later, okay, come back. And that was it.
And don't forget, the expert even said what they did to fix the problem. He was shocked that they let them go back after a week. He's like, it's not gonna be okay. He even knew that. It was like, there's no way of knowing what's gonna happen. So like. These people, if keeping a watch, seriously, keep watching. These people might end up having serious health problems. Like I wouldn't be surprised if I'm shocked if I had a family. No, don't live there. Mm-hmm. Unless you're far enough away, you might be okay, but it ain't worth it. If an animal's dying around like that, go move somewhere else. Like
especially if you got kids, it's like you can't have your kids living here. You gotta move. But at the same time, reality. You gotta face reality. Some people they can't.
Yeah, like it's hard.
Have to stay.
You don't have a choice. That's why again. You gotta be able to hire a lawyer. There should be some free lawyers just wanting to do something to help that out because that is a lawsuit. I don't understand how people are not.
Yeah, because lawyers want to make money, so you'd think to be hopping on it. Like, hey, who wants to sue?
To me, that company's never gonna exist again. That's why Norfolk. Yeah.
At the same time, that company's huge and they make so much money that maybe lawyers are afraid to go against them, because when it comes to legal battles, court battles, the one that wins is the one with more money. Because a lot of time, big companies that get sued by small people, they bribe them to stop suing them, right? Well, they have money like that.
Well, it also takes money to even do that shit.
Exactly. And they can keep funneling money.
Yeah, and if you have money saved up, say if you have like 40 grand saved up, that's your life savings, gone. Right? And then you want to try to sue somebody,
that's gone.
Is it worth your life savings, spending all that money just to maybe win? Maybe you're gambling. You might not, and then guess what? Now you're gonna be in the hole paying a lawyer back with money you ain't got. And then what are you supposed to do now? Now you're in a place where you can't really work, you can't really live, and you're broke.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I know.
Yeah, dude.
I know.
It's and they wonder why people end up being homeless. They wonder why this shit happens.
I know.
And like, you kind of get left no choice, but that shit is still crazy.
It is crazy, but that's why it's important that we have the internet now.
No, it is.
We have podcasts and we got people having conversation. Because back in the day, without the internet, everybody got their news source from the television. From this one single entity, and they can easily control what they want to show.
Easily.
But now that still happens. But now we have the internet, and people have actual real conversation. Because we saw the news, it's still happening, but we're here. We know the truth, so we're saying the truth. And
it's also different because that's why again I feel like America. It's like we're so many different countries in one. Because even though we're one country, we are also different from each other. Because like being in a bigger city, just knowing how it is right now, how information travel is so much faster. Even without internet, you find out about shit before you even know it. But in like growing up in Texas, unless I actually search something, you ain't gonna hear shit unless you're actively just watching the news. Which I don't know who really watches the news nowadays. It's a little different. But
I think old people.
Yeah, old
not
people.
gonna lie, because like my dad is a little older, and he's always watching the news all the time, like CNN and shit like that. And I know some other old people that's where they get the news source.
Being their little newspaper, flipping it, that kind of old school type of shit.
I think by now we all know that you can't trust these mainstream news sources.
I feel like the only way to do it is like through the internet, because you can have your own control, because you're looking at what you want to search. You have that power. Versus the news, you're just getting fed what they're choosing to feed you.
And you got to think about it. That's a company. Companies have to make money. It's a business. So if they want to stay in business, they got to say the right shit. And the right people that are going to pay them the right shit, you know?
Honestly, I think YouTube is my main news source. That's the main thing I use for it. I learned so much shit from there.
I get news from YouTube and Twitter.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, that's how it is.
Damn, that seems how it works. No, but like that's one of the best things, that people are just on there and you'll get the most genuineness, I would say. There's also falsehoods on there, but you will at least get people that they're just trying to put, like what we're doing. They're just trying to put information out there and keep people aware and awake.
And it's cool that you can have a conversation, because you can put this out, and then you have the comment section. People are going to debate now.
No, I like that.
You know, you have a conversation now. Instead of the news, it's just you watch this and then that's it. You can't reply to it. You can't send them a tweet or whatever, you know, that type of shit. True. But now with the internet, it's all conversation. The internet really changed the world, honestly.
I did it, and I think if it's going this direction, where hopefully it stays like that. But I do honestly still feel like the algorithm in it. That's yeah.
But it's better than the internet, better than television.
No, it really is.
At least we're making slow steps towards, gradual steps.
No, I will say that is because like me growing up, how I remember, it's like I honestly feels like you just don't know enough of the world. Before the internet, it's like you didn't know other things existed.
Yeah.
Like I forget that about other countries, how different cultures are. But now with the internet, you can just see it. You can easily watch other culture stuff, all their TV shows. You just can. It's a different vibe, but you can see it. But how I used to grow up, like I remember even in the 80s, I don't know if you remember these movies, the Crocodile Dundee, people were, if you know that at all.
I've heard of it.
He's about an Australian dude, he's like, crocodile hunter. When he first came to America, people were shocked, oh, you speak English so well. English is their native tongue. People didn't even fucking know that sometimes in the 80s.
Wow.
That's 1980.
That's insane.
And that was what blew my mind. There were a lot of people that were like that just even countries that speak English, they were shocked because that's how little we knew of other parts of the world. And that was just from the 80s. Yeah. And if you look at 90s, is when we got more of the culture started happening, a lot more awareness started happening around the world, and then the internet kind of blew up, and then all of a sudden we know a lot. We know all the stuff. It's
crazy
accessible.
How fast it happened. Because the 80s was only 40 years ago.
Yeah.
You know?
And think about that. And 40 years from the 80s was 1940.
Yeah.
And then 40 years before that, it was just fucking airplanes weren't invented yet.
I know, right?
It's
crazy.
Crazy, man.
But but again, going back, it's good to just keep having conversations about it.
No, it is.
Don't forget about this shit.
Since we live in a world where information is this accessible, man, we need to talk about it. I'm tired of letting things just get swept under the rug.
Like the Epstein stuff, man.
Yeah. Which is bullshit. We can talk about that if y'all want. This stuff is crazy.
Yeah, but let's keep it to Ohio for now.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because this stuff is the most recent, and this stuff it scares me because chemicals, for one, I'm like nervous on them because they can do so much stuff there's like even little bits that's so easy to poison people, just little bits of that stuff just in your just even on your skin can have effects. Yeah. Even the chemicals at work, man, stuff like that we have that can, just stuff like that, just even breathing it, even have ones on there, just being around the air, it can cause enough where he says, like, if you're around it, the solution we have, just pouring that, it's like the solution we're trying to clean the filter stuff. Yeah. It says even breathing air, you shouldn't even be around it. Yeah, I was reading the labels. I'm like, well, we were not taught that. Okay. Yeah, it just makes you, because it says if you start feeling like burning or whatever, you need to go to the eye center or whatever and wash out and cleanse or whatever. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, so like that tells me if these cleaning chemicals for that, now imagine the stuff that's designed what it's designed for. Yeah. And how the stuff it can use. So like, who knows? Like even the air, we don't know how long it stays in the air. How long does it float around? If it's in the soil, like will it still hover up if you touch the dirt? Is that still gonna affect you? But some just even touching it, like that little solution on your skin, it burns after a while. I melt the paint off. I poured a little bit on like some metal paint. I was experimenting. That's what happens. It melted all the paint off immediately.
Wow, that's insane.
And I was like, this is just for the normal cleaning stuff. So I always think about that, and these are the more dangerous chemicals. They say it was like that. It's like the stuff they make PVC pipe with, and it's like the liquid form of it.
Talking about the chemicals in the car,
chemicals in the train. Like if these solutions like that they're using, like so going back to ones at work, how those are just made for cleaning, and those that we use daily, and the damage it can do just on that.
Yeah.
If you now look at these chemicals on the train, and how dangerous these were. That's what makes me like, this stuff should be quarantined. That's what always scares me. Is like, if that is dangerous as it was, I don't think anybody should have ever been back in that town for, I feel like, years.
I think that town's fucked.
No, that's what I mean. Like, that shit, if they is that dangerous, I just know these little cleaning chemicals I fuck with sometimes at work. If they're that dangerous, that tells me this shit, don't anywhere around there. I think even breathing the air, even touching the soil, was that thing, the water's tainted. The water's fucked for life. You're going to see probably animals. We're probably going to hear more reports of animals dying as it keeps going on, because I think even the wildlife, if they haven't, I'm assuming most like animals, they have an instinct, they know when shit's wrong, they're gonna flee, they go somewhere else. But I feel like, except for the ones that are like in the ones that are like in fenced in, like that we had, they said all their cattle and shit was dying off, which is fucking unfortunate. And that to me right there, that shows like that stuff should be recouped. I don't know what the policies were. No one's even talking about that shit. This is the stuff that we're talking about. No one's really talking about this stuff anymore. Once it was a popular news subject for like a week. I know. Then it's gone.
I know. That's why I want to make another video about it. I don't want it to be forgotten. Because there's real people living there with real lives, real families that are suffering because of this shit, you know? And they just got $1,000.
No, it's just mostly just like that cancer shit. It's like how it was like the highest level and concentrate, like all that stuff when it's just in that liquid form. I was like, I don't know, man. It's just that's just terrifying to think. It just seems like that whole city is fucked. I don't know if that's ever gonna recoup.
I think it's fucked for the next 100 years. Or
no, it might be. I mean, it may not be that long, but I would say at least a decade, man. I would say that's at least that, because I don't think it's equivalent to like what a nuke would do, because that shit's fried for I feel like ever. I still like in Russia, that shit you can't even go to. I don't know if you saw that stuff way over there.
No, what happened?
Like the plant that blew up like
Is this recent?
No, it was a long ass time ago. Okay. But it was like it was like, shit, was that like in the 60s? Be a side subject. I'll bring this back up later date. Yeah. But basically, it blew up and the reactor blew up, and it's like it's not livable.
Oh, Chernobyl.
Chernobyl. Yeah. And that land's still not livable.
Yeah, I heard about
that.
And
that's been like, it feels like almost 100 years now.
Yeah.
It's close to it anyway.
Yeah.
And if it's like that bad, it's been like at least like 60 years. But if it's that bad over there. And I know those are nukes, and it's not like a Hiroshima. It's different because it was like a meltdown, core meltdown. Yeah. It's very different.
Yeah. But it's still freaking 5 carts of chemicals.
Yeah.
That spilled everywhere and also went into the fucking air.
No, and that's the stuff that's dangerous. Like if that's, who knows how shit far down the stuff. See, that's what I don't get. We don't know enough about this. I don't think there's been the equivalent of this in our recent times.
I don't think we have to know. We know it's not good.
Yeah, but it's just like, I don't know, man. It just makes you wonder about like how deep that stuff can go in the soil. Like it just how deep it can penetrate.
It's probably goes all the way down to the fucking groundwater now.
Man,
and the whole area is fucked now. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and stuff like, and even the water, like the creeks that are right there, how far can that stuff travel?
I know, right?
Do we know enough about that? How does it like eventually die off?
Maybe it's not just that town. Maybe like a year
because there's creeks and rivers and all that shit around there.
That towns in the other areas are getting affected too. Who knows?
Yeah, because I know like in Chernobyl, a lot of the stuff by that river, man, those animals are fucked. I know they had to do. I think they had to build shit to like where it wouldn't lead places because they were like creatures they were finding in the water, which I'm assuming this might happen up. We might see like these weird new things getting born from whatever this is, like two-headed fish or like multiple eyes on them.
Some Simpsons.
You've
seen the Simpsons movie?
100%.
The fish with the 3 eyes or whatever. Yeah.
I would not be shocked if stuff like that are popping up.
I still am mind blown at the fact that there's a woman with the whole train in her backyard.
Dude, that's weird.
And they told her, "Hey, you can come back. It's all good." Even though the train's like 5 feet away from your fucking back door.
No, that's what doesn't make sense. Like, how does that happen? We're like, okay, you can go back home. Like, are y'all picking up the shit? Like, it's like saying like, well, half your house is destroyed, but you can live in it. Yeah, clean this shit up.
I know, man.
Is there any word on when this is gonna get done?
I mean, that just shows you they don't really
They
care
don't care,
about people.
man. No,
they
because
just care about money.
we're just pawns in this fucking world, man.
Yeah.
We're just little pieces they can move around, and then so that's it. If the world will forget, another news subject will pop up,
Yeah.
and then that's it.
That's how it is, man.
Because our attention spans like that nowadays, which is unfortunate. But
wanna-
if we keep talking about it,
You want to get into some conspiracy stuff?
100%. Let's go.
Usually, when shit like this happens, right? You'll start seeing that a certain celebrity has drama because they want to distract you from this shit, you know? So I don't know if right now there's anything like that. Like if there's a fucking divorce going on, or
We should look right after the train accident happened and see if some celebrity news happened.
Yeah,
I bet
real,
you there is.
That's for real how it happens. They want
Yeah.
to distract you.
It worked apparently. It worked.
I know.
Because I haven't heard anybody talk about it. Even on the
Yeah.
news shit when I was researching that, it wasn't like up in front right there.
Really?
No one talk. No, I couldn't find
shit.
anywhere.
Damn.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
No, it just seems like that's just the way of the world now. When these things happen, we just kind of like, oh, let's bury it. Like even the shit that's going on in Russia. How often do you hear about that stuff?
I know,
anymore?
right? Oh, you know what I want to talk about? The fact that the U.S. government or whatever sent trillions of dollars to Ukraine to help them. But what about our own people here? We have the whole town that got infected by this chemical.
Yeah.
You can't send them $1 million?
Yeah.
It's not a trillion. No,
You can give them $1,000.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
What about our own people here?
No,
you know?
yes, yeah. They could at least got everybody like there's like I think it was like 5,000 residents. That's fucking nothing. 5,000 residents. Give them all 100,000.
Yeah. That's what is that? $1 million?
And just come back in a couple years.
I know, man.
Do you know? I don't know. It's at least something. $1,000. What is that gonna pay for a couple meals?
That's like that's one
a
person's
weekend?
paycheck.
Yeah.
Like I can make that just working, man.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
That's like that's literally just a week's worth of work.
I know.
No, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
I
And the
don't
people
know.
there, they're not doing well. Like one of the guy that was pouring water, they asked him how much he makes an hour. He makes like $9 an hour.
Yeah, wait. What happens with the work? Like that's what I mean. Like all these people, these are just the residents. What about the companies? Do people like? And in a town that small, like are people so like? That's what blows my mind. Like how is that working? How are people economy starting up back? Because if this happened and it's still disrupted, obviously the train's still probably not. I don't know if it's still running. I don't know if they fixed it.
Oh, you know what's crazy?
What happened?
Oh my god! Speaking of train, right? So
Yeah.
the Norfolk train derailed and collapsed, right?
Yeah.
But guess what? That same railway there's still trains going through.
They're still
Norfolk trains going through still.
What?
The town. Seriously. I think in one of the interviews I was watching, as they were filming the derailed train, they looked to the, like 5 minutes later, they heard another fucking Norfolk train roll by the town.
Fuck.
Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, fuck that. My
That's crazy.
God. No, I figured the train tracks were just done and they're working on that to fix it.
There's still Norfolk
Not
trains
even a week.
going through.
You don't think after the thing?
They're still going through. That's crazy, huh?
No, that's real crazy.
That's crazy.
Especially that
They
big
don't
of a
care.
derail.
They don't care.
I would assume it's more than just bearings messed up. I was like, man, someone's not doing their job. That's all that was.
Shit.
No, man, that's golly.
Yeah, who knows? But that just blew my mind. The fact that we had a Norfolk train collapse and derailed, and then literally a week later, you got another one going through the town. Like nothing happened, you know? Like, oh, we're just going to pass by our old train.
You just pretend
We still
it
got to
happened,
make money.
keep going on.
We still got to deliver our shit, make money. Who cares about this train, you know? Shit like that.
Yeah, that's it's hard to know what to do when you're in these situations, but I don't know. It's unfortunate.
It's
like,
hard to know what to do, but at least we're having conversations.
No,
about it,
that's
you know?
all we could do is just talk about it.
And I hope that this was a good conversation for us to
hopefully,
watch, man. Because we got to keep this shit. I don't want people to forget. You know, this is real stuff. But anyway, I appreciate you guys for watching.
Yeah.
We you know, this is a great topic. You know, again, kind of a down subject, but you know, it's important to keep things.
It's a
never
down
forget about
subject,
it.
but as we talk about it, man, it lifts it up for
Yeah.
sure. It brings it back up to the surface.
True. But
So yeah.
again, thank you for watching.
Yes, sir.
Don't forget about East Palestine and also Flint, Michigan. I think they still have water problems.
Don't forget about that. They're still having water problems, man.
I know,
People are
right?
still having issues with all that shit.
U.S. Get your shit together, man.
Yeah,
Why
man.
we spend so
We
much
try to help
money?
everyone else,
I know.
man.
What about us? What about our people?
Yeah.
They don't care about our people.
It's like,
I don't
fuck,
know, man.
man.
But anyway, thanks for watching. I'm
Yeah.
Josh. I'm Seiko.
Hey, Josh,
Seiko.
man. Yeah, I'm Seiko.
I'm
It's Josh.
Severin Photography. Check me out. What's your at?
It's at Severin Photography, SEVEREN Photography.
Yes, sir. There you go. Again, thanks for watching.
Yes,
Peace
sir.
out.
I'm